Hello, I'm Geoff.
And I'm Patrick. We are -1 Ross again today.
He's got a puncture. Oh, I'm Belle. There's Belle. Hello, Bella.
Like, she knows.
On time.
I swear she knows.
Doesn't she?
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And then she's like, right.
And I'm done now. That's all you're getting.
I've done enough work to stay in the union and I'm off.
Yes, no Pat. No Pat. No, we have got a Pat. No Ross today.
Only physically.
No Ross. He's sadly he's got a puncture.
Yes.
Well, he hasn't got a puncture.
Yes.
He's feeling deflated.
Yeah. Bless him.
Yeah, so he's somewhere getting his car sorted out. Unfortunately, he's not going to be able to make it. So just the two of us again, like last time. Although Ross did turn up last time.
Yes.
Yes. So straight in, big news. Everyone's talking about it. It happened only a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
LVO.
Yes. And were your predictions correct?
Yeah, sort of, mostly. But you didn't have to be blooming. You didn't have to be an Imperial sanctioned psyker to know that you were getting Emperor's children. Yeah. But got to be honest, got more units than I thought they were going to get.
Yeah.
And more units than they thought they were going to get. And I thought the box was actually quite ramped. I thought there was loads in it. I think they've done... I think it looks like they're going to do okay. I think Emperor's Children. I think.
Right. Okay, you're right. Are we talking about Emperor's Children first?
Sorry. Yes. I do apologise. That's what I was going with. Yes. So
it's like the box is round. I was like, which box?
yeah. But so Emperor's Children, which was the one everyone knew was going to be there.
Yes.
Turned up. We thought it was going to turn up. It did.
Already announced Fulgrim.
Yeah, they've already announced Fulgrim. They'd shown an image that could do absolutely no way could be anything other than Lucius the Eternal.
Yeah.
The model is thankfully not only just a improvement on the other one, which bless it was very, very old now, but also doesn't look like the old one in a way. In some ways, is I've had a couple of complaints, especially in the Blood Angels, where you could release new characters and just look like the old miniature, just resized a bit.
Yeah, like the HD remodel, as Ross would say.
But I think. But I think the Lucius model is really nice. I think the way the whip's far more dynamic. It's a nicer looking model. So and all of the lords and champions and so on they've got, I think great. Yeah, it's a bit better than I thought it was going to be. I expected more. I thought they might do what's it called? I thought they might Nemesis Claw Emperor's Children a bit more. I thought they might just do upgrade sprues to ordinary chaos, but they seem to have put in some really nice, unique miniatures for them. And I like the idea. I know it's a thing they've had before, but I like the fact that they've kept that most of the army moves 7 instead of 6. I think it's quite cool. They're a little bit faster.
Yeah,
they've got a new unit that are a 3-man unit that have all got swords.
Yes, I think.
They call.
I'll get onto this in a bit later, but I think they're probably my the Paladin Blades. I think.
Yeah, they're really nice.
They're probably my favourite unit, though. I think they're definitely some people's least favourite.
Oh, has there been grumblings? I haven't heard much.
I've seen quite a lot of memes about the length of their heads.
But there's always something.
Yeah.
Maybe you need extra big head space to keep all your combat information in it when you're that good with the sword. Maybe.
It's just what's in there. I don't know. Just naughty stuff. And then you like the.
I really like the Noise Marines.
The
I think
Noise
look
Marines.
Great. Yeah, really like them. I like the slightly over the top looking speakers on the backs. It looks great. I like I said before, I love the fact
6 in a box as well, isn't there? I think.
Yeah, magic number, isn't it?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I was quite surprised.
And I like the. And I've said before, I like the organ stops on the back of the weapons and stuff. So it does look like the idea there is a generation of generating tunes and noise and stuff. I think it's quite cool. Yeah, I've been quite impressed with the
You're a big fan. It's an interesting one for me because I think I'm not overly familiar with the Emperor's Children as far as Chaos Space Marines factions go. It's probably one. Well, I think you
sort of got into them when you got into 40k when they had nothing really.
Yeah,
so they didn't have. Yeah, they were in a bit of a wasteland, I think.
And then I think most of my exposure to Emperor's Children is Horus Heresy. And I think the Emperor's Children Marines are fantastic.
Yes.
And I think we always say, like, when they release the chapter specific sort of like praetors and characters and stuff like that, they look amazing. And I think the Horus Heresy Emperor's Children I want to say I prefer to these.
Well, nice paint job as well. That sort of purple look they were. Quite regal looking.
Yes, yeah, they look super regal, very flamboyant, and all that sort of stuff.
And that's part of what they are, isn't it?
Yes.
Wasn't it with them? If I remember rightly, weren't they initially the first legion of Marines who were allowed to wear the Aquila?
Yes.
It was like because they were very special boys.
No, very, very, very special boys. So, through my own ignorance, admittedly, I was quite surprised scrolling through these images. I didn't wait up or get up for the the reveal. I was quite surprised how much black there was on there.
Yeah.
So I was going through and being like, oh right, okay, and like I definitely don't like the idea of painting a ton of these.
No,
I think I was having palpitations looking at the army box because that's got two sets of noise marines in it, and then
it's quite a chunky box actually,
and then two squads of like the normal sort of marines, but you can build them slightly differently, I think, and then the character in the middle. So there's so many miniatures in that box. So I was just like, no thank you.
Well, I think I caught me off guard a bit because I was thinking that seems a much bigger box for roughly the same price as Deathcore Krieg, and then I had to think, but every horse and rider is in plastic terms is the equivalent of about 4 men, isn't it? You know what I mean? So I thought if you go and buy the amount of plastic in a box in its rawest form, then it's about the same amount of plastic for about the same amount of price. But I quite like them.
Yeah.
To be fair, I think it's a good box. Yeah. Not enough that I'll be collecting them.
No. I'm super glad these exist.
I'd love to have a go at one because I've never really painted pink on a miniature before, so I'd like to have a crack at one, but I don't think I'd like to. I don't think I wouldn't be collecting them.
There you go.
I've got enough blooming chaos in my life already with having a large Death Guard army that needs finishing. Then I'm not going to stop messing around with them boys.
I think get a pink spray. I mean, Suggs has one with Colourforge. Army painter have a pink spray as well.
Yeah.
And then you could go in with Black Legion, I guess, and black out pretty quick.
Well, the black will go over the pink without too much problems.
Rather than going pink over black, that would take a long time.
Wow, yeah.
That'd be a lot of layers and patience.
Yeah.
So yeah, super interesting. I hope people that really wanted to love them. I don't have any skin in the game really. So
yeah, that's exactly how I perceived it. You know, when you see some things come out and you think, good on you. It's like, if that's your army, Deathcore Krieg and whatnot, and you go, if that's your bag, I hope you love these and really pleased for you, because I don't find anything in there offensive. Everything in it looks really good. I think it looks really good, but not to the point where I go, oh, that's it now. I'm now collecting them, which was what happened with me with Kroot. When as soon as I seen the rampages, I was like, oh, I now need to have Kroot, and I now need to have a Kroot army. And that hasn't caught. Maybe you know what? Maybe if I didn't have a Chaos Marine army already, I'd maybe be tempted. But as I have one, I think no, I don't need more Chaos. That's fine. But I do like them, and then I hope.
Have you got a Chaos Marine army?
Well, in Death Guard, and you know what I mean.
Yes. Of course.
Yeah. But it's like, but I think I don't need another. I don't need more of it. But you know.
Yeah.
But like I say, if you're an Emperor's Champion fan, then I hope they were up to snuff for you, because they are pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it's we've got new Chaos models. That's awesome. They look mega detailed. Painting them terrifies me. I think I prefer the Horus Heresy style of Emperor's Children.
And there's a lot less to do on them as well, isn't there, compared to you know, I mean, just looking at this one we're looking at here, there's just the amount of studs just on his leg alone. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah. But they're cool.
It's an interesting one. But
I think they might have been outdone.
Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Are you thinking Soul Blight Gravelords?
I am thinking Soul Blight Gravelords.
Yeah.
Again, and we go down this path of constantly, I don't know how many times I've said, oh, I don't play Age of Sigmar, but ... You know, I did it many a time with Cities of Sigmar, but
like I think this is it for me. Like I think, like I can't.
Do you think you're in?
I can't keep saying, oh, the miniatures are just so much better. Like I think consistently for the past, I don't know, three for years.
Yeah.
We've said, God, AOS are just knocking it out of the park.
Yeah.
And these guys are amazing.
They really are really good.
Everything in that box looks great. The rank and file look incredible. The horses look awesome.
Yeah.
I love the style that they're painted in, that sort of like weathered sort of brass.
Yeah, like the brass bronze thing going on, isn't it? And loads of verdigris as well.
Yeah,
It looks really good.
all the weathering and all that sort of stuff. I think like there's that sort of thing, like you could put some, I'm looking at them and I'm like, right, I could base coat the metal and you could wash them or weather them and have those cool paints do the heavy lifting for you.
And the thing is the great thing is it's like Death Guard, is that when you're dealing with something that's so corroded, you really struggle to make a bad job of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think, if you don't get me wrong, if you really know how to paint and you know how to blend, get some really nice washes blending in and out of different types of, destroyed armor, great. But I think they're going to look nice with just run-of-the-mill skill levels,
Yes, yeah, I'm inclined to agree. Like, I look at the models and I'm like, what puts me off the Emperor's Children draws me to those. Like those rank and file, I feel like you could knock them out and have them look reasonably good without a horrendous amount of skill, which I certainly don't have. But yeah, I think that's it. I can't keep saying OS is the best and then refuse to buy anything.
Which is what I'm doing, because I keep going, Cities of Sigmar are fantastic, but I'm not doing it.
Yes. So,
they are cool.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think they're so cool. And that dragon with Vampire
in both
Dude
of
on.
its forms. The fact that they, Games Workshop are yet again are doing this, making a kit that carries two different sorts of variants. I think they've done a really good job on both of that. Yeah, it's a really, really, really good launch. And do you know what? I didn't think Age of Sigmar would be able to push it that good again after only a couple of episodes ago we were banging about the goblins with the wolves.
Yes.
And I was going, that's amazing. How they got to top that.
With 3 tactical rocks?
Yeah. And then they bring that out and go, look, we've done this as well. Do you think in that office they're just like, we're on the, every release they do, all the reactions just like AOS is amazing, and then they just go into work the next day and have a massive party. And just like, do you think they stick their head in on Warhammer 40k side?
Yeah. Just like throw paper planes at people's heads, just be like, we're better than you. But yeah, AOS seem to be
paper planes that are made in the shape of Sanguinian Scarred's wings.
Yes, yeah. It is really interesting. Like I guess maybe it's I wonder specifically what it is, but AOS comes out and everyone's like, oh my God, incredible, amazing, that's brilliant. And then the poor guys at 40k going like, oh, we've updated Sanguinary Guard. Where are the wings?
Yeah, I know. Don't get me wrong. I think in defense of 40k, you're painting with a much broader brush when it's Age of Sigmar, aren't you?
And it's a much younger game.
Yeah, and fantasy allows you to just do a bit more where you have certain restrictions within 40k of, Space Marines look like this, and don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
You go, well, Space Marines can have angels' wings, and we go, and we're deciding to take them off, and you go, well, that wasn't a good move. But I know that it's a bit narrower as to what you can do. I do agree. I do accept that Age of Sigmar has a wider range of, we're making dragons and we're going to make this. And we're putting goblins on wolves, and you can do a bit more. Because
I think, we had Stormcast on dragons a few years ago, didn't we? Yeah. And they didn't necessarily bring the house down. Were they Storm Drake or something like that?
Yeah, and then they had that one that looked like the bloomin' big, Stormcast. They had that Stormcast that looked like a Space Marine chaplain on a massive big creature as well.
Yeah. But yeah, whatever. Well, I think you've said something similar, or I'm just stealing from you from a few chat shows ago. Whatever drugs the AOS design team are on are great.
They need to be sharing them.
I think they would be wonderful, and I feel sorry for the not necessarily sorry, I guess, but frustrated for the people at 40k that go, oh, I wish we could put a dragon in it.
Yeah.
Because you can't.
Yeah. It's not really,
because you're not even allowed wings on Space Marines.
You're absolutely right. You never know, mate. You never know further down the line they might be able to get that in there if they ever get round to being able to have the exodites, Eldar exodites, where they can have lizards and whatnot. You never know. You might get there that way. But,
potentially.
But yeah, I thought the releases for LVO I thought were really good. Got a new version of the roadmap again.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah, so we've got the roadmap again.
Love a roadmap.
Yeah, don't we all? But this one's been a little bit more going. Oh, well, this is what's happening. And then they showed some random little pictures of bits of stuff of like codex covers.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah. And the one Black Templar was on there wasn't shocked because they're going to need to be done. They're in the list.
Yes,
but the one that was a bit like, oh, that's a bit of a surprise. Was a picture of a salamander.
Interesting.
So I don't know whether that's. I was like,
Vulcan confirmed.
Yeah, absolutely. And some of me was a bit like, oh, salamander's getting a codex. That's quite interesting. I didn't really see that coming.
No, because the next big Space Marine thing, I think we're both thinking Space Wolves, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Space Wolves weren't shown at all.
No.
And then they showed this picture of a salamander. And then I did the silly thing of going, well, at first I went, Codex Salamanders. And then I went, hey, because I always think they're quite cool. And then I thought, oh, actually, that could just be, which has happened before. I thought that could be Space Marines 2.0, because sometimes Space Marines end up with two codexes in the one edition. And I thought,
you think they're going to release it? They can't release it so soon, surely.
I don't know. And I thought it can't be, because I thought, and the reason it can't be, because if it was a Space Marine codex, it would be an Ultramarine on the cover, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So it looks to me like they might be getting a codex. So
I wonder what one model we can look forward to.
What one model? Yeah, probably will be just one model.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't mind them going back to doing. They've done this before, where they used to do tiny little Space Marine codexes, which weren't the big song and dance they are now of hardback covers. They were just
supplements.
Just supplements, and I'd quite happily have one of them. It looks increasingly like they're going to knock out the remaining Chaos Marine chapter, Chaos Marine Legion codexes one after another and get the three of them done and out the way quite quickly, it would seem. So, which I think would be good if you're that way inclined. They did show, I said in the previous show, I didn't know whether they were going to ignore or lean into showing the Plague Marine. So, and in the Lords of Pox actually is what.
Is that what he's called?
Yeah.
Oh, very good. So, is my understanding that because everything at these reveals now is pre-recorded.
Yes.
They just show it a pre-recorded video live.
Yeah.
So they present in Nottingham, fly to the US, show a pre-recorded video there, and so on and so forth. So it wasn't in the live stream, but it was on Warhammer
community,
and everything that was released sort of generally officially has its own video, because they go, ooh, what's this? And then there's a silhouette with cool smoke, and then it's like 360. That didn't have anything. It was just some pictures.
It was weird. So I sort of was right and wrong. I said they'll either put it in, or they'll ignore it for a little while, because the codex could still be a fair way off. And they did the complete middle ground. Only on Warhammer community.
They put a toe in, didn't they?
Yeah, and then
the most interesting thing I found about that Marine was that the paint scheme is very different to the previous. I mean, it's still green. Yeah, but the tone of green is different. The style of painting on it is different. I feel like the metallics are quite different as well.
Yeah, I don't want to say that it looks like it's been painted in a hurry.
I mean, what I know that
that might be ridiculous, because the codex is going to come out this year. That could have been painted ages ago for all I know.
Yes,
but if it isn't been painted a while back, they've changed it a bit.
Yeah, heavy metal don't paint the plastics.
No,
because they're not ready.
They paint. They paint a 3D.
That will be
print.
resin, be it 3D printing or casting or whatever.
I think looking at the miniature, it looks like he's going to. One of his rules will be pumping a fair amount of toxins around the board by the looking at that thing on his back.
Massive power pack. Yeah, and if he's Lord of, I think he's going to be pumping pox around.
The way you just jump to these conclusions amazes me, Pat. Nice miniature though. I was more excited about him on the sprue. When we seen the leak, I was more excited about him on there. I weirdly think the back's better than the front. I like the massive big swords. I think looks really cool. I like the way he's carrying it, like it is a bit of a burden.
Yeah,
I do think to myself, I hope he knows he's going to get in a fight in a bit of a hurry, because that sword doesn't look like it's just sliding out of that.
No,
But generally it will be, the minute it hits the shelf, it will be a miniature I buy for my Death Guard. I do like it.
Yeah.
But it does, you are absolutely right. It doesn't feel as heavy on the brass, on the copper, on the metal. It all looks a little bit more subdued.
Yes. Yeah. And the green is, it's interesting because Death Guard, I think.
The green looks more.
It's like darker, isn't it?
Yeah.
More sort of like camo-y, olivey sort of green, because the green in like the original Death Guard when they were released, like he's quite bright, isn't it?
And they really seem to work from the dark green and the shadows, but then when they come up to it, well, like, you know, I use
like the highlights is like white green, isn't it?
I use it. I use AK white green when I'm if that's the right name for it, or greenish white or something.
Something like that. Along those lines,
I use that as my final highlight, which is because I am in my own mind mimicking the heavy metal paint scheme, but I do end very, very light, and they do look like they've gone a little bit of a different way with that.
Do you like it, people watching?
I like it, but I don't want to say, but because it's my army, but I am on board and going, it's fine. You know, it's good enough. I'll have it in my army. I think maybe if I've got it in my hands and I'm painting it, I'll really learn to love it. I think for me, I will probably, with that big cloak it's got round it, I'll probably go back to what heavy metal Death Guards were in the past, is that their secondary colour was always like a maroon. So I think I'll probably do that with that and go with the maroon with that big cloak that he's got wrapped around him. But it's one of them ones I think I'll need to get it in my hand and get a paintbrush on it before I really fall in love with it, I think. But cool. The other one for me from there, which sort of almost went under the radar, was from Black Library.
Oh yes, the Marines,
the Cadians.
Yes, sorry,
Guards, and it was
not Space Marines.
And it was. I think the character's called Captain Lesk.
Yeah,
I've not read any of the books. I've seen her on the front of the books looking steely in a with her hair in a big ponytail, and off she goes.
Tie-in of characters and stuff, isn't it?
Do you know what? I first just sort of, and I know you did the same. When all right, you know, Cadians from a book, but but you know what? To be fair, there's a couple of really belt miniatures. And the nice thing about it as well is that if you aren't interested in the books, you've got some flavoursome guard miniatures. You know, you can use her as just a Cadian captain. You've got a Melter Gunner with a really cool scar on his burn scar on his face. You've got another one that's got a weird sort of Celtic thing going on. I'm not quite sure. If I read the books, it would probably make more sense. A really, really nice some sort of variant of priestess carrying a Cadian banner. It's been really, really nicely painted.
It's quite interesting on the group shot of them. Oh, I was like, I'm like looking on the phone. I'm like, you can't even see his face. The flag's in the way. But no, it is there. I just needed to pay a bit more attention.
And then, but the absolute killer in that is Commissar Shand. Absolute belting miniature. You know, if you are just a Commissar if you are just a guard player and you're not interested in that Commissar, absolutely ace.
With his little power axe behind his back.
He looks a little bit like someone's let the Delac join the army. He's got a bit of a Delac feel about him.
I can completely. You mentioned that earlier.
He's very skinny.
Having a look at it now, like quite gaunt.
And very thin, and then the jacket being all the way down to his feet.
But
a really, really nice miniature. But that's really cool. priestess is really cool with a book strapped to her chest.
It is a cool little squad.
Yeah. And and like I say, it just sort of again just turns up on Warcomp, went a little bit under the radar.
Yeah.
Again, if you're a Cadian player, I think it's worth having, and I think if you're a fan of the books, I hope you're really happy with the interpretation of how they've done the characters. But
yeah.
Again,
so that was good. Couple of releases for the old world. We have some Necromunda,
which will always be, as usual, be mental.
Yes, yeah. So this was Ashwaste Nomads, I think, was it, or something, or the Ashwaste Nomads, but like some more dudes for them, and they look
then
really cool.
weird worms.
Yeah. Oh, and
the weapon and more weapons kit by the looks of it as well for them.
Weapon upgrades, all that sort of stuff. So yeah.
Necromunda never failing to be utterly bizarre, and this new piece of scenery as well, which is just what are they saying it's called? I seen it and forgot about it. It's only just now that you've got.
Yeah. I oh crikey, I'm not sure if I can see what it is called. So yeah, it's
bonkers.
It is bonkers.
It looks like someone stuck a bit of a battleship and stuck it on a stick to live in.
Yeah,
but it's,
and there's some ruined scenery as well. So
more ruined scenery, which is great if you play Necromunda or even if you play Kill Team.
Yeah.
So yeah. Do you know? That's the other thing I've said. The words now being Kill Team is the fact I constantly feel like I need to be spoiled with Kill Team. Is that I've only the Saturday before Christmas did I get Brutal and Cunning, and it's a really great box. Talked about before that I gave the orcs to my son. I've started gluing the rattlings together. They're really nice. And I'm already going, what's the next one? What's the next one? Why haven't they told me about the next one? Why haven't they told me about the next one?
Yeah.
It's like plastic crack.
If it is an upgrade sprue, I wonder what it's going to do.
Yeah, I know. And that's it. You go, and and I think at one point in time, I think I very, very got it wrong. And I said, is Kill Team just there to be like the secondary way to introduce 40k to get new 40k miniatures in? And I still think it probably is, but you do realise that it's very, very much now becoming a beast in its own right, and how popular it's becoming as well.
And I'm really, really glad. Like from the limited stuff that I played of Kill Team, I've really, really enjoyed it.
And and it's the thing we're going to try and get a bit more on this year. Is I'm going to try and learn the rules a bit better. I'm even I'm going to try and get myself out on a little bit of an excursion. I joined the Kill Team group for a bunch of guys who are in Stoke.
Oh yeah.
And the reason I picked on them, bless them, going they'll have to do, they're going to suffer, is because they have their Facebook group really seems to be really on point, and they really seem to be a good bunch of guys. So I'm gonna get myself down the A50, the A500 down to Stoke.
Yeah.
And
is it A50, A52? I can't remember.
No, don't know. I drive through it all the time.
It goes across.
To Liverpool, but I never take much notice of the numbers. I've drove it that many times, so I don't need to anymore.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go and try and get over and see them playing and see if they can. I can watch them and try not to be too much of realise how badly wrong I'm getting the rules. But because I'd really like to get into it a little bit more this year. And, and like I say, it just is the fact now that the teams are so small and cool and quirky that I don't have to worry about the fact I need to have an army for them. I can just have them, So so I'm going to try and get a bit more. Kill Team played, and then hopefully drag that into the channel as well. So that's cool.
Yeah.
Loads of stuff up for pre-order as well at the moment.
Oh god, there's so much, isn't there?
There's 67 items, I think there is. Most of it, when I've started going through it, looks like it's all
it's a lot
Lord of the Rings.
Lots of Lord of the Rings, lots of Heresy.
Yeah, Lord of the Rings, I think, is getting a bit of a push, isn't it? Because they've not that long ago had
the animated
movie, didn't it? Which seems
so
to
there's
have been
lots of Rohan stuff.
Yeah, and I think that looks like it's leaned into the releases of Games Workshop's elements of that as well. Yeah, loads of stuff again for Heresy with their increasing. I love the fact they keep releasing miniature Marines with a job that you didn't know was a job.
Yes,
This guy is like basically the military police for the military police for the elements that work alongside. They go, who knew that was a job? Here's another guy with a different stick.
Yes,
But all of it's really nice. I can't fault it. It's really, really nice. The quirkiest thing And I didn't think it was something, you know that thing Games Workshop do? We're releasing something that you didn't know you needed till we released it.
Yes.
Trophies box.
It's turned quite a lot of heads, that, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an odd one because it's like, you know, it's because we've had, and I own it, the Skulls box from previous.
Yeah,
I think you've got it as well.
I've got the Skulls box.
Yeah, and it's great. And it's great. It's got
somewhere.
loads of skulls in it. It's got loads of skulls that tick the boxes for fantasy, and then especially because obviously if you play orc skulls, whether it's orcs with a C or orcs with a K.
Yeah.
So there's all of that. And it's got, so, you know, it's like loads of skulls. And then, you know, many of us over for many moons have been sticking helmets on bases, be it Space Marines or Chaos or whatever it might be. And I like the way they've gone, do you like skulls? Do you like helmets? How about skulls with a helmet?
Yes.
And there's loads of skulls with a helmet. And it's 24 quid, I think.
Yeah.
And I looked at it and thought, I don't need any of that, but I'm going to use all of that. So
yes. It's super interesting because, like, you say if you get one character that's 24 quid, you're like, oh, that's a lot of money for one model with only one head. And then you're like, oh, I could have 50 heads.
Yeah.
It seems in sort of like Games Workshop land, like of good value.
Yeah,
I think it
does look like it's good value.
It's a tiny box, but it provides a lot of value because you can use it on pretty much anything.
And good old half buried Space Marine. You know, that's just screaming out for a Chaos champion to be stood on him.
Yes,
you know what I mean. Unlike me never liking the apothecary standing on his own mate Space Marine base. I never took to that. But I think if you're going to do it for bad guys, it looks cool. And like Cadian helmets. Yeah, and look, don't get me wrong. If you're a good enough or a modeler with enough time and patience in your life to sit there and file a skull down and put it on that spare Cadian helmet you already had, then good on you. But for the rest of us who are lazy or inept, to be able to have already Cadian helmets in it with a skull inside it is great.
I think it does a really good job of breaking down sort of kit bashing barriers, or for sort of people that are newer in the hobby, if they're not like, oh, well, I don't have, like, I've got loads of Chaos helmets and bits and bobs lying around, or I might pop open a box and steal a Space Marine helmet because I know I'm going to put like a bear head on one or whatever. Yeah. It just be like, do I need a skull? Yes. Have I got helmets of this and that? And they're beaten and broken and and
what it'd be good for as well as if you if you wanted to make your own stand-in for poxwalkers. If you wanted to go proper zombie undead sort of route on your poxwalkers, and you could have like a shuffling Cadian zombie knocking around, and then there you go. You don't even have to try and stick a skull inside a pre-existing helmet that are already there. Yes. What I don't think was on there, which I would have liked, if I'm being honest, is I'd have liked some skulls that were made you think they were Marine skulls, if that makes sense. Yes. So like
if they had like servo eyes or something,
or
because there's an orc with a eye, servo eye, I believe. Yeah. Or
skull with like a couple of the studs in the head and things like
really
that.
Good point. Yeah.
Would have been cool, but but I think. Oh God, it's rare to say it, but I think as Games Workshop boxes goes, I think it's
because the skull box is great, and that is a really. And
I think you'd really have to put your effort.
Yeah.
You'd really be having to put the effort in with that original Skulls box to use it up.
Yeah,
there's so much in it.
It was I think there was an interesting story between the 40k design studio because as we all know. Workshop is very segmented in how it operates. Yeah. So, the people that made
it's like West Side Story in there.
Yeah, everyone just walks around clicking. Was that West Side Story where they do that? I think so. Yes, I'm cultured.
It is indeed West Side Story. Yeah.
So you have the 40k design studio, and then you have the hobby. I don't know what it's called, but they make the paints, they make the tools, and so on and so forth, and they make the skull box.
Oh, do they really?
Yes.
Oh, right. Okay, that's interesting.
And again, with all of these stories, you have to say allegedly. They went to 40k and went, "Hey, we want to make a skull box. You've got loads of skulls because they exist on bases already, but they're, you know, pre-molded in, blah, 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 blah. Could we, you know, we're all Games Workshop. Could we take them and then put them on our own sprue? No. So they had to redesign
from the ground
every single skull from the ground up to then make the skull box. So I think this, I imagine, is potentially very similar.
Yeah.
And it's an amazing product. I think it's so good.
And do you know as well, I know it sounds like a ridiculous thing to say, but as I look at it now, I really like the damage that some of the skulls have got in it, like really been cleaved. And then the other thing as well, I don't know whether they're meant to be disused or the idea you stick them on
the servo
skulls. Loads of servo skulls as well.
Yeah, I was going to ask if they were functional or not.
I can't really quite tell. Some of them look like they are. Well, it's hard to know with a servo skull.
Yeah.
Is that a dead servo skull or a live servo skull?
Well, you have to say functional.
Yeah, I don't know,
or not.
And I like the fact as well some Deathcore Krieg skulls as well, which is quite interesting because it's nice to remember that there is a human head underneath there.
Yes, because it's predominantly sort of like human skulls, isn't it? But then you've got your skulls and your helmets.
Yeah,
I really like the. Is it World Eaters or Word Bearers? I always muddle them.
Missing one of his bunny
Angron's
ears.
dudes, is that's like snapped off.
Yeah, they're cool. They really are cool.
Yeah.
There's lots on there to like. I'm gonna
fantastic. And you've got like a Vespid head, Kroot heads.
Yeah. There's a few Kroot heads there. I'm gonna try. What I'm gonna do, I think, is my little boy Elijah, who's cracking on with his combat patrol box for beast snaggers. And do you know what? It's lovely. You know, those of you that are dads who've got sons or daughters that paint, it's lovely that you really do spot with children that each miniature's just got better. You can see it. You can just watch each miniature got better. And he's now already got to the point that he's bored, where he went, the other day he went, look at this one. And he's now started doing whatever, I don't know, the clan, all the different clans for the orcs. But he came down and he'd gone, this beast snagger now had the half blue face of, which is a thing. For somebody like, I started doing this now.
Yes.
I was like, oh, right, good on you. Okay. So he's getting on really well, but he's
going to be painting like dead split Marines on the bases, isn't he? He'd be like, my orcs, they really hate Nova Marines.
Just knock out a quick Howling Griffin. There you go.
Yes.
But what he's actually, I said to him, how are you basing them? And he said, I'm going to do them jungle bases, which is what my Kroot are on.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is I've got the original skulls box. There's a load of Kroot skulls in it as well.
Oh, cool.
And I'm going to go, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to chop them all off and give them to him and go, you stick them on your bases.
Yeah.
And then all the orc ones that I've got, I'll stick them on my bases. So when we do play combat patrol against each other, Kroot versus orcs, they look like they exist in the same world because they'll both be on jungle bases, and then we've got the skulls.
That's
bit
fun.
Bit of bragging rights on the skulls. But I love that. I love that set as well, and also again, you know, dead Terminator heads as well. You know, so they really, I really like it because they really look like they've given it some thought.
Yes,
you know, even down to dead Arbites.
Oh, wow.
Which is, you know, which is quite interesting.
Yeah.
So I think
it's only positives with that.
Well, the only thing you've got to say then is hopefully, because the thing we are with the elephant in the room with them is that, unlike the previous box, is that it's only 40k. So hopefully they'll do an Age of Sigmar one as well further down the line as well, because it'd be nice for them to get their shout on it as well. But love that. I'll tell you, the only people I realise they're missing, maybe because their heads would look pretty much the same, is it'd be nice if they'd been a bit more Votan on it.
Yeah, very good point.
I think the problem being is a lot of the Votan helmets are sort of built into the body, almost like an astronaut helmet, aren't they? So
they
it's a little bit more.
Yeah, like it might not be 100% recognisable Votan.
Yeah, so
then maybe just a skull will suffice, and you just say, that's cool, that's the Votan.
What would be cool if they'd done rattling skulls? They still managed to have a bit of something in their mouth. A dead one, a rattling skull, but with a chicken bone.
Just like a skeleton, but with a cup of tea. Yeah, that would be brilliant.
But so I think right now I'm feeling a bit 40k buoyant.
Ooh, very good. Yeah,
where I wasn't feeling very buoyant when I was on my Kefalonia holiday last year, and they released the Blood Angels, and they released the wrong trousers. Inquisitor.
Isn't it funny that the 40k buoyant, because we're just like, ooh, skulls, but skulls with helmets on.
Just shows how easily pleased you can be in the community, doesn't it?
That is just a bit of fun, but I think it's so useful.
Absolutely right.
Really well thought out. Like, the price is decent. I think there's a lot of use out of it.
Yeah.
So,
you know, you think, 24 quid for lots of tiny little things. You go, but you know what? When you think of the value of when you put it on the base of each, you know, or if you've been, you know, especially, you know, or, you know, you're getting ready for a painting competition and you're doing this thing that is themed around the idea that this character is fighting against these other ones, and you get that box and you go, oh, Eldar skull with a helmet on is exactly what I needed for that. I like that, you know.
Yeah. I think it's awesome.
I think it's pretty cool. So, good work, Games Workshop, on a little box of skulls and helmets. Thank you very much. Yeah.
And then potentially another tick in the well done Games Workshop column.
Oh, go on.
Is, remember that sort of that thing called the Warhammer Plus?
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I know them guys. I give them money for nothing, and then they send me a miniature every now and again. I know them.
Yes.
To be fair, the miniatures are all right.
Yes.
So, you know.
So you have that wonderful subscription service that, depending on what you value the most, you can either. It's quite interesting talking to people, because people generally have they have the one thing that they value the most out of it. So be it the miniature, the animations, you've got battle reports or masterclass and that sort of thing. So
to be fair, the chap behind masterclass is a lovely lad, and he can blum and paint, and his instructional work is very good as well. So he, you know, I sadly don't go into it very often. But every so often, when I do go in for a lazy look through, I look through masterclass, and there'll be something, and I'll go, all right, I remember when I need to go and paint that.
Yeah.
I'll come back here.
Yes.
Because there's bottles in there. How to paint bottles, and I've now got rattlings.
Yes.
And as we all know, they like a beer.
Is it like how to paint sausages or something like that?
And he's done how to paint foods, and so there's like, every now and then I go through and go, right, put that in my memory bank, and I will go back to that at some point.
Yes.
So. Yeah, but I generally ignore it.
Yes,
if I'm being utterly honest.
I think I unsubbed maybe 2 years ago now, because I wasn't a massive fan of the miniatures, and the animations are kind of like in a bit of a weird place. Yeah, and I think they still are. So, because now, I mean, you maybe get an episode of animation once every 3 months.
Well, I think what happens at the moment, isn't it? They go on. They've started going on little spurts of great, and then it goes back to being tumbleweeds and church bells again, doesn't it? Because the Tides was great. Yep. I enjoyed all episodes of the Tides, and then he went, nothing again.
So you either get a series or something every couple of months, and at the most. Yeah,
we've got a new KD. We've got a new.
It's like new Hammer and Bolter, isn't it?
Yeah, Hammer and Bolter with
Return to Cadia.
Return to Cadia. Yeah. And it's like, you know, if my joy would be that would be more than one episode long, but I know Hammer and Bolter normally are episodic, aren't they? Yeah. So
I think all those years ago, it was very much sold primarily, like the tentpole seemed to be, or the highest tentpole, seemed to be the animations.
Well, they suck us in because Angels of Death was great.
Yes. Yes, it was. It was very good. I think that did really, really well.
And I never really took to Hammer and Bolter because it was like a little bit like comic book moves a little bit, you know.
Yes, yeah, and definitely the earlier episodes I think were very much like that. They definitely got better. There were some AOS ones that were really good, and
the Lucius Eternal one was good.
Yes, yeah, that was really good. There was one with some Chaos Terminators that were stuck in Trazen's sort of thing. Spoilers, sorry. And then some other bits and bobs. There was like a Gene Stealers one that was quite cool. And everything. So the quality definitely improved. And then this new Hammer and Bolter that's coming out is just like full blown computer animation.
Yeah, even down to the fact it's doing the old horror, what is now becoming a bit of a trope, the old horror thing of sticking a GoPro on someone's head facing back on them.
Yes,
Which is
running
great
around,
for creating for tension and panic sort of thing.
So it seems like it's going to be some sort of horror thing. So animation's being in a sort of weird place. You got the mega Henry Cavill Amazon TV show, which is happening.
Yes.
Secret Level also did a Warhammer episode.
Oh God, you know what? I've watched that about 3 or 4 times and I still think it's brilliant.
Yes. It's great.
It's really good. But by eternal shame as I haven't watched Edit Nelson's Secret Level.
Yeah. I tell you what, I watched all of the first half and I watched the Warhammer episode a couple of times. And then the second half came out and I was like, I don't really know any of those games. So I didn't watch them. And
that's the problem with that. That's the problem a little bit with Secret Level. And I think it's more bad on me than it is on them. That I'm going, I've never played that.
Yeah.
And I'm a bit like, you know.
Well, computer games are mega expensive. Like you can't play everything.
No, Christ.
Unless you pirate it all. And then how much time have you got?
I know.
Yeah. Like, what are you going to do?
Oh God, me and video games aren't getting very on. Is that I'm replaying, I haven't played it originally, I'm playing the remaster of Dead Space.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And I'm at this sort of end of level baddie. And I every so often go and have another go at it. And then the kids walk in and look at me and they literally go, are you still on that bit?
Oh dear.
I'm like, yes, I am still on this bit.
Yes.
So I'm not getting a lot of video gaming done.
No, I can't remember the last time I played a video game. I do not have the time. But the point I've been waffling to, apologies everyone, is, right, so animations, they're on Warhammer Plus, they're very infrequent.
Good when they're there.
Amazon release. Yeah, good when they're there.
That one with the that one with the guy who was from the Salamanders, wasn't he?
Yes, that was part of Tides, wasn't it? Oh no,
it was his own thing, and then Tides joined into it.
They had the sequel to it.
Yeah. Whatever that was called. Oh, it was Prime Nexus.
Prime Nexus. Yeah.
I enjoyed that.
Prime Nexus 2, this time with Ultramarines, was the Tides episode, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And Tides was really good.
Yeah.
Like the Custodes one was really cool. It's kind of like hovering in 2 spaces at once. What's going to happen when Amazon come on? Amazon are now doing animations. Are they going to do an animation with like a studio or something? So this is a bit weird. So someone, I presume, higher up in Games Workshop land, have now put 6 new shows on Warhammer Plus.
I feel really bad because it shows how ignorant I've been to Warhammer Plus because they sort of sneaked up on me without me knowing you were there.
Because I want to say they released them under the radar. They might not have done.
I just wasn't reading. I wasn't looking at the right radar.
That's it. Yeah, I was looking at this other radar with Trench Crusade on it.
I don't think that's the radar Games Workshop are using.
The other Grimdark radar. What, that one or that one? Yes. So it was quite surprising, and we had a sort of a rummage through them this morning briefly before we started filming. So you've got these are all, none of them are animations. They're all people focused.
If they are animations, God, it's got good.
Yes. So you got Scrap Demon, which is kind of like Scrap Heap Challenge, kit bashing sort of challenge, that kind of thing. Questing Knights.
I will say on Scrap, what did you say? Scrap Demon.
Scrap Demon.
Yeah, it was nice to see. It was nice to see Ali Morrison, which was nice.
He
was on there.
Popped in, which is lovely.
Cool.
And that was quite fun seeing what people could make in like 3 hours. Have like a competition or something along those lines. Questing Knights, which is a Blackstone Fortress sort of playthrough.
Well, I think that might, I'm not sure because obviously we've only got 2 episodes in both of them are Blackstone Fortress. That might every few weeks change into a different game, maybe. You never know. Scribes and Scriveners, which is currently 1 episode, which is discussion with Black Library author. Cool.
And I presume will continue on being that. Probably not the same author every time, but
that'll get a bit dry a bit quicker.
It would do, wouldn't it?
Dan Abnett on.
Oh, that'd be incredible, wouldn't it?
It'd be good.
I would probably sign up for a month of Warhammer Plus, I think, and watch it. You got Arena of Death, which reads like it's like a big cage match just between sort of like characters and stuff. How We Roll, which is interviews with games designers, so how they write codexes and all that sort of stuff. And then you have Painting Desk, which is heavy metal painter interviews as well. So that's like, and quite a lot of those have 2 episodes up already.
And you know what? I've got to give it to them for somebody who's not somebody who says a lot of good things about Warhammer Plus. Got to give it to them. It's a really nice even spread of different things.
Yeah.
And, and when with the first scene was like, you do that thing of, you really, really, really have to shove me into being excited about Warhammer Plus.
Yeah.
And then, as you were mentioning them, I thought, there's at least 3 of them that I think I will probably have on when I'm painting.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. That long form stuff.
I try not to encourage that, because that's what we try to do with this show, is that you listen to us while you paint. So just edit that bit out.
Yes, of course. No, but I like that long form sort of interview content is quick to produce. It's a lot less in depth. You have your however many cameras you want. We've got 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we're just rolling. And so the editing, I mean, I edit this as I go, which I've got my little DJ deck here, but I imagine they probably won't be doing that, because they might be sort of, editing bits out, but it's a lot less in depth than shooting a battle report and making sure you get close-ups of the minis and all the intro shots and so on and so forth. Like, so great that they're doing it. I wonder, like, why a little bit.
Well, I think it's for what you've already tapped into, is the fact the animations aren't flowing fast enough. Yeah,
my main worry, I guess, would be if Amazon have done it and they've gone, oh, you can have the rights, but then if like the Doomsday thing, which I don't think would happen, would be they're not allowed to make animations anymore because they sold the rights to Amazon.
I can't see that.
They're selling the rights themselves, so it would be silly if they gave them away.
I don't think I think Games Workshop, in their defence, are people. I know people get upset and are worried, and until Amazon 40K and when Henry comes charging in on his big stallion and slaps it onto the internet for us and goes, there you go, enjoy. And then until such point in time then where everyone's a little bit, oh, don't change this too much and don't change that much. The thing I will say in defense of Games Workshop, and I know Amazon are really big hitters, I understand that, but I have faith a bit in Games Workshop in the fact that when they let their IP out to other people, it's generally quite stringent of what they're allowed to do with it. So how much it gets changed and how many things get altered is generally not that high. Yeah. So the idea of Games Workshop complete releasing their rights of the animation to somebody else, I just can't see them doing it. I think they do like to go, this is ours.
Very much,
They are quite IP protective.
Yes.
And God bless them for that. Yes. I like the fact that, they now are a big company who is, having fingers in other pies and potentially other companies having fingers in their pies. But I like the idea of them going, no, we've got a core of how we do this. Yeah. You know, if we are going to completely knacker it and change the rules and make people angry, that's for us to do.
Yes, yes, absolutely. I think it's good, like, quite a lot, like them sort of like not necessarily naming creators and people who have written codex and so on and so forth, I think is because, they have a duty of care to their staff. Very passionate people that aren't particularly happy with some things will say, I want to murder this person. And that's bad. Yeah. So I think like it's great that they are actually doing interviews with the painters, with rules writers, and we didn't watch everything of every single show. No. So I think it was sort of like, I imagine it's sort of broad strokes. What goes into writing a codex? And maybe that person will shy away from saying, well, when I wrote the Votan codex. Yeah.
When I was part of the team.
Yes. Yeah, that's it. So great that they're doing it and labeling creatives, and we've credit when credit's due, like we've talked about that quite a bit. I know lots of other people on the internet have talked about that quite a lot, so marvelous that it's happening. I can understand why it's sort of like behind a paywall, if they sort of like want to keep you can't comment on the videos or anything, or so there's, if people really wanted to hate you, they'd have to go through extra steps, which I think
pay money to
puts,
really dislike you.
it puts people off.
But
so I like some of the shows, it's Games Workshop, it's corporate, it seems a bit sort of like generic question A, ooh, formal answer B.
Do you know what I would like? Do you know what I would like going forward with their Amazon deal? And I don't mind if I still have to pay for it, but I'd like to be able, because I'm not tech savvy and I am also inherently lazy, do you know what I'd like? I'd like Warhammer Plus to be part of my Amazon subscription, so I can sit there and watch it on my big telly.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Oh, because you don't get Warhammer Plus on your big TV, do you?
No, I don't get Warhammer Plus on my big TV. All of my television that I consume comes through my PlayStation.
Yeah.
So, it'd be nice to be able to, Warhammer Plus through me big telly, so I can sit and watch the Tides on the big screen without having to start bouncing stuff from one thing to another, because I haven't got one of them Apple TV systems of, but I think, if they're going to start getting into bed with things, I think if I could be able to have another bit that I interact with through Amazon that opens my Warhammer Plus for me, that would be quite nice.
Yeah,
and I'd probably be a little bit inclined to watch it more. But I've got to be honest, I feel a little bit embarrassed that they've done all of that and I haven't noticed. I feel a little bit like going, oh, they're rubbish. Oh, hang on, they've got what?
I noticed the job descriptions going up.
Yeah.
I have job notifications for like video stuff in Nottingham, and pre-Christmas there was quite a few jobs going for Warhammer Plus. I recognise the job description because it hasn't changed since I applied in 2020, I think, late 2020, and then I started working there in 2021. So that was very similar, and then there was sort of like a higher up one as well, and they still don't advertise how much the job is and all that sort of stuff, which is a bit shit. And you're just proud to be part of the family.
You just work there for free.
You're a family, and you do anything for family, including free stuff. You're working for peanuts. No, and it's not peanuts really, but
it is once you've used your discount.
Yes, yeah. That's it. I remember
when you get home and you go, "Got how much to bring home this month?"
Yeah, I remember the head of security giving me the tour, and he was like, "The discount's lethal because you think you'll buy the same amount for half the price, but you'll just buy twice as much."
Yeah,
and I did.
Yeah, you will too. Yes. When you go, well, if that's only that much, I could get two of them.
Exactly.
And then you go, there you go.
Yeah. And then you're in. Yeah. Stuff is happening at Warhammer Plus. If you've watched it, let us know. I'm keen to know what you think.
Yeah.
I think
I am going to try and start sticking some of it on when I'm painting.
Yeah.
Do you know the other thing I've started watching when I'm painting?
Ooh.
Connected so very, 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 very loosely to what we do. I've started watching and just hearing people talking about doing what they're doing sort of makes me feel a little bit more relaxed in painting and makes me go, oh, do you know, maybe I will try that shade. I've started having on and not necessarily looking at that much, mainly because I like the grand reveals at the end of it, is I've really started to get into Sky Arts Portrait Artist of the Year.
Ooh, I've never heard of this.
Yeah, they bring in 3 relatively famous people, and sometimes quite famous people from all. Some of them are like news presenters, some of them are journalists, some of them are food critics, but they have like a good run of like people I love. Jodie Comer, Stephen Graham. Yes, it is a coincidence that I've named 2 Scousers straight up. Josh Whitcomb, loads of different comedians and things like that. And it's just they bring in a number of artists. Each guest has 3 artists who paint. And then what happens, and I try not to look because I like them to then go, turn your easels round, and then the person is confronted with three
versions of themselves.
And, and it's always really nice. And then, and then they get to pick what one they take home. But that doesn't necessarily mean that's the winning one, because what happens then is each person has also had to send in a self-portrait to get on the show.
Yes.
And then that self-portrait plus the portrait they've done or looked at by the actual proper judges.
Oh.
And then they decide who's the best out of the 9 who goes forward to the semi-final. Yeah. But while you're painting, you just hear someone going, oh, I tried to do a lighter tone because of this backdrop or this, that, and the other. And you just go, oh, do you know? And next thing you know, hearing people talking about painting, even though they're not painting rhinos and land raiders, strangely sort of just loosens me up a little bit.
Yeah, oh, that's cool.
And it's worth a look, actually. And also, the nice thing about Sky Arts, as long as you've got a television that can receive, cable, Sky Arts is outside of the Sky package. It's free.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you don't have to be Sky. You don't have to be a Sky subscriber to be able to watch Sky Arts, which I think is a really nice thing from Sky. But so that's one of my.
You think
when I'm not painting, just listening to this show.
Yes.
I'm going, do you know what, Past Geoff? You were right. You're a genius, Past Geoff. So when I'm not in my painting phase, listening to the painting phase,
yes,
I'll do that. But I might incorporate some Warhammer Plus now.
Yeah.
Good on them for pulling their finger out.
I feel like I forget that people. I guess I don't really think loads about what people are doing whilst they're listening to this, be it in a podcast, if they're painting, if they're driving. I feel like I need to
driving are here, walking the dog are here quite a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And back in the background while we're painting is what we always planned it to be. And that's what gets done a bit, which is good.
I'd say, if you're watching and you're walking your dog, give them a pat on the head from me and a treat.
Because we do like a dog.
And then send me a picture of your dog.
We want to see the goodest boys and the goodest girls.
Yes, that's it. If you are painting, you're doing such an incredible job.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah.
And then, what else did we say? Driving, don't crash, focus on the road.
Yeah.
That's probably the best driving advice I can give to someone. Don't die.
To anybody, really.
Don't die.
Don't die.
To anyone listening, just don't kill it. Yeah, no. There we go. What did I? Because I pretty much exclusively do all my painting in here. I don't paint at home. I might have TV on in the background. As an aside about telly that I've been watching, Gladiators has started again.
I love Gladiators.
Do
you know, I literally, when Gladiators comes on, lose 43 years. I literally just turn into a 10-year-old.
Yes.
I swear to God, it's the most that sends me back to any childlike state.
Yeah.
And I wasn't even 10 when Gladiators came out. I was older than that.
Yeah.
But I literally go back to being a child.
Yeah.
I am the only person in the house who interacts with. I make everyone sit down. And then I'm like, go on. And then I look around and everybody else is like that.
Because my sister started watching the previous series and she was like, oh my God, Gladiators are going. If you watched it, it's amazing. And I was like, no, I haven't. And I watched one episode for a bit of nostalgia.
Yeah.
And I'm all in. I'm sort of like you say, like my girlfriend is not as sort of shouting at the TV as I am, and I'm generally quite sort of quiet and don't really say a great deal. But Gladiators comes on, and you're just like, oh,
I want pizza and cheap fizzy pop.
Yes,
while I watch this because I'm 10.
Yes. And it's all it's so cheesy, and the guy that plays Legends really has it down, and you love to hate him. He's such an incredible.
The Celebrity Christmas special was brilliant.
Yes, I watched that last night. Yeah,
which was really good.
And because they were having so much
when Legend went and got the brush. For Rob Beckett's teeth.
Yeah.
I was there for all the time.
Yeah. And he's like, I think you've been putting your fake tan on with this. And he breaks character because he turns around and laughs at him. And it's like they just included it. And because they're comedians, they were having such a laugh with it. It was really fun. And it's interesting because all the films of gladiators, i.e. in the Colosseum, you're just like, oh, how barbaric. I wouldn't watch any of this. And I'm not into football and sitting in stadiums and stuff, but as soon as it's I don't know, people having a little bit of a scrap. I don't like fighting generally, but gladiators, I'm just like, yes.
Yeah. Do you know, I was probably the most jealous I've been of anybody was Hayley, my other half, came home and said, I said, so-and-so went to see it the other week. They had tickets. I was like, what? Why didn't we have tickets? Why did she not tell you? Why don't we know about this? I would have well sat there and painted my own piece of cardboard.
Yes. Yeah. But what would your sign say? Yeah. I saw one that said leg end.
Oh, very good.
That was pretty good.
I don't know. I am really fascinated by the guy with the bandana. The Asian chap.
Oh, yeah.
Really. He's the new wolf, isn't he?
Yes, yeah. He's the new wolf, but like Legend is better.
Well, the thing is that, you go, oh, they're all playing a role and they've been told to be this and they've been told to be that. And, some are meant to be friendly and some are meant to be quite stoic. And you go, I just can't help but think that the guy who is Legend is a bit like that in real life.
Yes, yeah. Because he's like quite a successful businessman, I believe. He has a big YouTube channel and like... He's like a toned down version of that, but
you know what?
He seems like genuinely quite a cool dude.
I've never failed to be stunned by their stats when they go 6'6" and an arm reach of this much. I go, they are absolutely enormous.
Yeah,
and it does make you realise how utterly unlikely it is of knocking a gladiator off the pugil stick.
Yeah.
You think your chances of doing that?
Yeah. You're poking a tree trunk, aren't you?
Yeah, and the thing is that, and they've got the balance perfect, haven't they? Because is that if you bring a guy on to be a contestant, and he is like a 6'5" monster like they are,
yes,
he's not getting up the travelator at the end.
No.
And there is people going to go, well, I'm an enormous bodybuilder and I do a 10-second, I do a 10-second 100 meters. Good on you, but you aren't the norm. Most guys who are the same sort of stack size as them don't. And, and even when you watch this, other than the wall, when they wall climb, which again, they have a big head start because they are nearly a foot taller than everybody else they're chasing.
It's quite funny when you see the wall and they do the first whistle and they do the second one and they just kind of walk up to them and they're pretty much just like there.
Nearly touching their foot already, I think. But you think they don't do anything massively exercise wise, because when you look at the one where they run around, they've got to put the ball in it, there's a lot of them, so they're not running too far. So I think it's always stacked in their favor, isn't it? Is because if you brought a monster on of a contestant, he wouldn't do great at the end.
No, that's it. And like I think the one that shows like the most physicality is like when they're swinging around on the rings.
But again, that's just because the core strength of them.
And all the arms and everything. And I think I only saw it once in the first season.
I've never seen anyone do well on the rings.
No, and because there was two it was the two ladies that were doing it and they were both struggling, bless them, because it's just like so much upper body strength.
My favorite ever one to do with gladiators, which I thought was really cool, was many when it was the original one, they had, again, I'm so utterly biased, they had a girl from Liverpool on called Eunice, right, and she was amazing, really amazing, and she became a gladiator.
Oh wow.
And then she went from being a gladiator to becoming a Hollywood stunt woman, and did a lot of the stunts for Angelina Jolie in the original Tomb Raider. And they're mega close as friends now.
Cool.
What do you think?
That's really awesome. But yes, I've been thoroughly enjoying Gladiators, like the celebrity special and then the first episode. And I'm just like, when's the next one? I want to yell at my telly.
And I don't yell at me telly much, mainly if it's question time. But I don't yell at me telly a lot, so it's quite nice to. And like I say,
because I don't, but Gladiators just brings it out in me.
And I'd like to say, I do make the family get together, and they just suffer it.
Yeah. Like I like the cheesy competitiveness. I like how generally all the female competitors and gladiators are just like so supportive of each other. They'll be beating the crap out of each other and just be like, yeah, she did really well. Like, I'm built like a tree and she's tiny, but she stayed on this thing. Well done, girl. And all that sort of thing. And just taking the piss out of each other. Or like, if they do, it's all in good fun, obviously, and very cheesy. There just seems like it's people having fun. What else did I watch? Sorry, TV aside. I watched the second season of SAS Rogue Heroes.
Oh yes, I'm done and dusted with it now. I'm all finished. Did you like it?
I did. Caveat, like, I just miss Connor Swindell's.
Yeah.
Because he's just so good.
Yeah.
And I know that that's what happened in history. He got captured and he ends up in as a prisoner of war.
Yeah.
But
off to Colditz.
Yes. And like that sort of, he's so suave and has so much like charisma, and that first season was just so fun. Like, he's, you know, they're getting on the jeeps and it's just like, come on, and just so funny. And then in this one, like Paddy Mayne's character is like, he's angry and he recites poetry and everyone's got PTSD, and that's what happened, I guess.
And I felt like it really picked up in the second half.
Yeah,
I got much better. Even my wife, we were watching it, and it was a thing of this. A thing of the Second World War is that generally British Army soldiers didn't wear camouflage.
Yeah,
and then they introduced a special paratrooper smock, which they called the Denison smock.
Yeah,
and they introduced that, and there were scenes of Paddy Mayne / Jack O'Connell in his sunglasses with quite a cool haircut and his Denison smock worn as high as it could be in a Jeep. And my wife was going, how cool does he look?
Yeah. To be fair, I was like, those sunglasses are amazing. Yeah.
And all was like Second World War traditional. And it was just, my wife was going, he looks really cool.
Yeah.
And I was like that. I said, Denison smocks do that. They just generally make it look like. But I enjoyed it more second half than I did first half.
Yeah.
And it blatantly looks like we're getting a third series, doesn't it, by the way it ended?
Yes.
I'd be very surprised.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. But yeah, I didn't know much about like the campaign in Sicily or anything like that, so that was quite cool. I know, like, my dad, he's written like novels, like towards the end of his life, after he retired, started writing novels. He wrote 10.
Wow.
I think
prolific.
10 just in one series.
Wow.
About Crete. And fighting in the Mediterranean.
He's almost on he's almost on a Horus Heresy level.
Yes, yeah. Not quite 60. So he was well into that. So anything I learned sort of about that sort of area and all that sort of, like, I haven't read his for my sins, I haven't read his books yet, but at some stage I know I will. But it's quite fun learning about it. And like, I guess, like, it's like, they didn't glamorize, like, the first SAS series was sort of like, we're going to do all this training, I'm going to throw you out this van and but they really don't sort of, like, the part when they're in the boats going to the shore and having to go past people that are in the water and stuff, and you're just like,
well, my wife often, as she did the history teacher, and she's a constant researcher of when she watches stuff, and she was saying that, you know, try not to give it away. There is, for those who haven't watched it yet, there is somebody who ends up walking a big distance.
Yes.
My wife said she researched that, and she went, that could be a TV series in its own right. How much trouble and stuff happened to him on that journey, and the TV show only just touches on it,
like a tiny bit.
That was more weird than the TV show.
Yeah, because it was quite a big side plot. So I was like, I assume this happened in real life.
Yeah.
They did a good job. I enjoyed it. I just miss Connor Swindell's as
and the worst thing is you know you're not going to get him in season 3, other than him being angry in Colditz as opposed to being angry in Italy.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, because he's sort of pretty much spent the rest of the war as a prisoner of war, didn't he?
Yes.
And I know, like, Paddy Mayne has the statues and stuff, doesn't he? And
Paddy Mayne, I think, aren't they were trying to get another statue, because he's the highest decorated man not to win a Victoria Cross.
Oh, wow.
Because they were actually got to the point where I think they were almost getting bored of giving him medals. You know, and sadly died young as well.
Yeah. I didn't know that after World War II the SAS was disbanded, and then it was remade again in the 70s?
They were disbanded, and then they were rebuilt again as a territorial unit that would be used as and when they needed, and then they started to go, oh, hang on a minute. They were brought back sooner than the 70s, because I think they used them... potentially used them in places like Borneo and things like that in the 50s.
Okay.
But they were disbanded for a while. They went over to being this group that were called the Artists, which was a really weird thing, had been another regiment. during the Second World War who had been made up of poets and artists and things like that, and they were sort of taken in with them. And then they thought,
"That's quite bizarre."
I know.
They're like, "I'm also an artist with a gun."
With a gun, yeah. Watch me do this canvas with a machine gun. Yeah, but so they had a bit of a strange post Second World War. It all got a bit weird and a bit all over the place for them for a while, and then eventually it sort of settled into 21, 22 and 23 as it is today. Strangely, 21 and 23 are still reservists.
Are they really? Oh, right, because 21...
You could go and join them. Literally, you could go and join the SAS from the street if you go in as a reservist. But
you're going to have to be incredibly fit and do a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, that's like you.
I did my first gym session back on since in the new year on Friday, and my legs are still in bits. Everything like waist to knee, like I had to brace myself against a wall and a sink to sit down on the toilet. I was so broken.
That's like me now, and I don't even go to the gym. But you can join them from the street.
Yeah,
and if you do well enough if your scores, and if I remember this correctly, my memory of it is a bit sketchy now, but I think if your scores and timings are high enough, you can go into regular SAS, which is how one of the guys who ended up split away on his own in Bravo 20, Chris Ryan.
Yeah.
Chris Ryan had never served in the regular army, if I remember rightly. He
was a reservist.
He'd come in as a reservist, but had done well enough that they took him.
Wow.
If I remember correctly.
There we go. And that
was what? Late 80s, so he'd been in the 80s. And
was that the first one of the Gulf War?
Gulf War was 91, so he'd been in a while by then. There you go, Pat. There's still hope for you yet.
Yes.
You'll be able to get your sunglasses and a Denison smock.
I'll stick to dreaming about how cool I could be and actually just be weak and feeble. I think
you can keep your beard in the army now as well. So there you go.
Right, there you go. Okay. Yeah. I did think about joining the army when I was a teenager, but my mum was like, "You're a fucking nut." And then
that's quite funny because my parents were like, "Bye." And I was only thinking about it. It's okay. We signed for you. Off you go.
Yeah. See you later. That's it. So here I am being the stereotypical struggling artist instead.
Well, again, artist, you're still definitely ready for the SAS.
Yes.
There you go. You see.
Yes. No, I'd be so shit. They'd be like, "What's your special skill?" I'd be like, "Doing as I'm told."
Hang on. What's your special skill? I'm a very good videographer, and I can climb.
Oh yeah,
They've already got you scaling up the side of a mountain.
Can you imagine? They're like, right. Oh, we're gonna put we're gonna surveil these people. I'll be like, what cameras have we got? What lenses? I tell you, it'd look way more cinematic if you put the camera down here. And they're like, get the fuck out. No, I have no illusions about how rubbish I would be. I just try and be a slightly improved version of myself occasionally. Not even all the time.
Too much, otherwise
not even all
strenuous.
The time. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. But yes, telly. Yeah, we had a little TV break. I'll make sure when I'm editing, I put in the TV break. No Warhammer talked about.
Yeah.
It's had 3 seasons. It's on iPlayer. I'm sure you will have watched it. The Outlaws.
Yes, love The Outlaws.
I've just started watching season 1. I'm 2 episodes in. I love it so much.
And do you know what I'll say is about The Outlaws? It doesn't have any dip in quality.
Sensational.
I think it's as strong from beginning to end.
Like, incredible cast. Like, how on earth did they get Christopher Walken?
Yeah.
And Stephen Merchant is hilarious.
I would say you do end up with less Christopher Walken.
Yes.
But but even though it's still very strong.
Yeah. And like the sort of like right-wing sort of business owner guy.
Yeah.
I can't remember his character name or the actor's name.
Yeah.
But he used to be in Smack the Pony. And he's brilliant.
Yeah.
In everything he's in.
He's always really good at playing people you don't like.
Yes. And I still I don't like.
He's like Jobsworth and this, isn't he?
Yeah. Like you don't necessarily like him, but you still feel for him.
Yeah, especially when you see, the competitiveness that he's had bred into him.
Yes.
You sort of go, I can see how he's ended up.
So like immediately, like the writing of him and the acting is top notch. And I think it's fantastic. Yeah,
he's a good old writer as Merchant.
Yeah. Oh, did Merchant write it all?
I think so. I think he's involved in the writing. Let me now look, because now I won't want to look like I've said something stupid. But let me just think.
But I thoroughly enjoyed it. So if we could do this one, there we go. If you're in the UK, it's on iPlayer.
Or you've got one of them things, Surfshark thing.
This episode sponsor. No, we're not sponsored by VPNs at the moment. But there we go. So thoroughly recommend that.
It's going to have a, let me just have a look. I now need to see who wrote it.
Yeah. I wonder if I can use an interactive search that isn't.
Oh, we had 14 writers.
Oh, right.
Jesus. Although Stephen Merchant was one of them. But yeah.
Yeah, there we go. So, excellent. So that's good.
And even the woman out of Baby Reindeer is great in it.
She's exceptional.
Comedy work. Jessica Gunning, her name is. She even wrote an episode as well.
Co-created and co-written by Stephen Merchant and Elgin James. Yeah. So those two get a name check, but then I imagine later on people wrote more episodes.
Cool.
Yeah, Baby. Yeah, she's wonderful. She's so funny.
Yeah,
she's like, oh, you're a clever donut.
Do you know, just
it's like, isn't it clever cookie? It still works.
Let's go back a moment. I don't know if you've seen the adverts for it or trailers for it. There's they're doing a movie about William Tell.
Oh, right. No, I haven't.
And the whole
the musician. No.
About the whole Swiss revolution in regards with Austria and all of that, not Austria, would have been Germany, but all of that sort of time period. And Connor Swindells plays a bad guy in it.
Oh.
And there was a photograph, I was looking at a shot of it the other day of their premiere for it. And I was like, there's Connor Swindells. And then I went, and there's my friend's adult son stood behind him, because my mate Matt, his boy's a villain in it as well.
Oh, fantastic. Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, it was quite cool. So I thought, hang on. Yeah, I forgot he was in it.
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
Very good. Excellent. Right,
I need to get onto him as well, because if any time and anyone a plot for a script from Amazon lands on it's for something called Warhammer,
yes,
can you take the job so we can have you on the show?
Yeah. Oh, I bet in the contracts it's like you don't appear on YouTube anywhere, or it will be like through agents and stuff like it. But if it's someone that's like, slightly further down the billing,
that's what I'm thinking.
It's not included in the press tour.
Yeah.
Then we could be like, indie press tour.
Yeah. You never know.
Yeah, fantastic. What did I say? I've a while ago, I think I was saying, I really want to do Wrath and Glory, which is like the role-playing system for Warhammer. I actually listened to an episode. If anyone listens to like D&D podcasts and stuff, Dungeons and Daddies, which is Freddie Wong's sort of like group. He used to make YouTube videos like 10, 15 years ago, something like that, about computer games and this, that, and the other. They have a D&D podcast, and it's hilarious, called Dungeons and Daddies, where they're all dads and this, that, and the other.
One episode dedicated to 40k.
Yes, so they call it Dad Hammer, which is hilarious. I think there's 3 episodes in total, but 2 are behind like a Patreon paywall, so I haven't listened to those yet. But it's so fun. I won't spoil it if anyone wants to listen to it, but it's certainly like I started listening to the audiobooks because I wanted to specifically because I wanted to do Wrath and Glory, and I was like, right, I want to get the feel of the world down and all that sort of stuff. And hearing a group of funny people go into the 40k universe and all that sort of stuff. Like, he made up his own planet. And it's not spoilers to say because they say it right in the intro, but it was like, all they do is they pick these berries, which are the exact color for some Space Marine cloaks for a specific chapter, and that's their entire.
Do you know what? There's that many planets with humans on in the Warhammer universe. I wouldn't be surprised there was a planet.
Yeah,
for that.
That's it. And then the only food they have is these berries as well, but they give them enough sustenance, but also make them throw up and feel sick all the time. And I'm like, that's really 40k. That's hilarious. So
servitude through, suffering.
Yes.
About 40k.
Yeah. And there's a chap in the Discord, Dr. Ether, who writes for Cubicle 7. So he's written a bunch of the books, and God, he was telling me some stuff that he's done. It's absolutely insane. But I'd love to try like a little one shot with you and Ross, and maybe we get someone else in as well.
Yeah.
But just the stories you could tell would be so fun, like using the system.
Yeah.
Because it could, like, I think you have to there's tiers of characters.
Yeah.
So being in the Imperial Guard is like tier 1.
Yeah.
A Space Marine Scout is tier 2.
Yeah.
And then you get up to
Inquisitors,
Space Marines, Inquisitors, and all that sort of stuff.
You'd have to be playing it for about 15 years before you're allowed to get that far.
Something like that. Or you could just start off as that, but I think you need to make sure that people are generally in the same sort of tier. But it would be quite fun if somebody was a Space Marine and then somebody was Imperial Guard.
Yeah.
But then it was like, Space Marine, you'd be like, I took all of his damage off but 1. And then just a little kid was just like, bang! Oh, cool, I killed Horus. That could be really fun. But I think, having a laugh with it. But yeah, getting a setting. I've just been thinking nonstop. I'm like, right, could you all be in the Imperial Guard? Could you all just be like factory workers and something breaks or whatever? Like, the possibilities are endless.
I'd be up for that.
Yeah, I'm so unbelievably keen. I think the thing that sort of like put me off it a little bit was I was like, oh God, like maybe we need miniatures and we need scenery and to do the battles and things like that. But if it works in an audio only form, then we could kind of forego that and just make sure we have the character sheets and all that sort of stuff.
But imagine how bad it'd be for us to lay our hands on figures and scenery. God,
no, we do have some. It'd be the time to paint it. That's it. So, or maybe, that's it. If it is a few Imperial Guard or something like that. But if I think I will need to make something in the Discord. And ban you and Ross from it and talk some ideas with people, which would be really, really fun. Yes. Perfect.
So, I think we've run our course.
Yes, I think so. We're getting there, aren't we? I'm not sure how long we've been going for now. I can't see the timer from here.
No, I can't.
I'm not used to sitting on this side of the desk. It's, I'm like, are all the cameras still in focus? Yeah, awesome. Hopefully I've done all right this episode.
So then, shall we end on thank yous?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you if you are one of our members of Patreon. You are literally keeping the lights on. Thank you if you subscribed, and if you haven't, go on. You want to. And thanks for any likes, and especially thanks for the comments. You write such lovely things, which is really, really inspires us to carry on churning this stuff out as best we can. And remember, if you want to buy anything, we've got affiliate links for a whole range of different things that are down in the
description.
Description. Thank you.
Goes to helping out the channel and
really does,
and keeping the lights on again. So thank you very much
again. Thanks, guys, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.